Hey, what's going on everyone? This is iReviews back with another video, and today we're talking about iOS 18.4. Now, we have been talking a lot about this update. It is expected to actually be the biggest update to iOS 18 since its release, bringing the last new Apple Intelligence features to the iPhone, but it actually has been pushed a lot. Now, we have been waiting for this update for like the last 3 weeks now since the release of iOS 18.3 to the public, but it didn't happen. Now, this week had been one of the weeks that we actually were pretty sure that we will get the new iOS 18.4 Beta 1. Again, it didn't happen. But we now have a date on when can we expect the first beta of iOS 18.4. Now you can see right here, this tweet here on X by Tim Cook, like basically confirming that on February 19th, next Wednesday, will be a new release, a new introduction of a new, most likely, iPhone. Now, this will most likely be the new iPhone SE4, which Apple is expected to release. It actually was expected to be released this week, but it didn't happen. So February 19th will be the date. So we're also expecting this to be the date that Apple will also release the first beta of iOS 18.4. Now, this beta, of course, will go through a lot of stages because it is a big update bringing a ton of improvements, especially to Siri and Apple Intelligence. And as you can see right here, taking a look at the calendar, on the 19th, this gets released on the first beta. Most likely in a few days will also be released on its first public beta. Now, I would expect actually Apple to go on a 2-week schedule at least for the first couple of betas before it moves on to a weekly schedule. So if it gets released, most likely it will on the 19th of February, then you can expect it to be released sometime right here on the 3rd or the 4th of March on the second beta. And then from then on, I would expect Apple to actually move to a weekly schedule on releasing iOS 18.4 betas, of course the dev betas and the public betas. Now, as far as the public release goes, we know that this will be released sometime in April, and I would expect it to be released somewhere in the middle of April, most likely somewhere here on the 7th or the 8th of April. We will have the RC version released, and then of course the public release most likely, in my opinion, will be the 14th of April, maybe even the 21st, but in my opinion, the first date that I expect iOS 18.4 to be released to the public is, of course, April 14th. Now, this will bring a ton of new features and changes to the iPhone, and of course will basically complete iOS 18, what we have seen at WWDC 2024. All the features, all the improvements, especially the ones to Siri, will be completed with this update. Now, you can expect Siri to get a bunch of new features, like, of course, more personal context. It will be basically learn more from you and work based on your input. There will also be new features like the on-screen awareness. Basically, Siri will know what you're doing on the screen, what you have up on the screen, and of course, act according to that. And what's really awesome is the new ability for Siri to take actions within apps. Now, this is said to also work on third-party apps, not just apps from the iPhone, the stock iPhone apps, but third-party apps as well. Now, one really cool new feature that I'm expecting to see on this update, even though it hasn't been confirmed yet, is the new screen recording feature, which was actually found on the code of iOS 18.3. Now, that feature would actually allow you to overlay your screen recording. Basically, you're recording the screen of your iPhone, but you can have a picture-in-picture video of yourself. So, of course, using the front-facing camera, you can overlay your screen recording with your video. So that's pretty awesome. Again, this feature is there because it has been spotted on the code of iOS 18.3, and hopefully it will be out with this update. There will be other things, of course, like Apple Intelligence is coming to way more languages, Chinese, and of course the Europe, Spanish, France, and all those languages are now getting Apple Intelligence, of course, spreading Apple Intelligence to the most iPhone users. There will be also new emojis coming with the new Unicode to iOS 18.4. And what's really cool is the Maps app for Europe. Hopefully that will happen soon on other countries as well. So basically with this new feature, you will be able to set a default Maps app. So on iOS, we have the Apple Maps, but I know a lot of users, maybe even more users, use Google Maps than Apple Maps. So now on EU, you will be able to go to apps here, go to your default apps, and just like you do with messaging or calling or the browsers, you will be able to set your default Maps app to any of the Maps app that you have on your iPhone. And now let's quickly talk also about the last release that Apple has made, iOS 18.3.1. Now that's a small update, of course, not bringing any new features and changes, but it brings a lot of bug fixes and security improvements, so you need to make sure that you have that installed. Even if you're waiting for iOS 18.4 to install on your device, make sure that you have your device updated to the new iOS 18.3.1. You can do it, of course, from here, or just set everything on automatic, and it will actually be downloaded and installed by itself, so you don't have to bother with that. Now I have this update, of course, on my device here. It has been really good. It's very stable, and also taking a look here at the battery life, it is actually quite solid. Now we have here an iPhone with a battery health of 91%. This is the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and most likely this percentage is even lower. I even did a video on that. It's actually around 87, but it doesn't display correctly right here. And you can see the battery lives that we have gotten the last 3 or 4 days here with iOS 18.3 installed on the device. Even though the first few days, of course, you know that you will get a worse battery life, because once you have updated the update, it's still working in the background, so it needs like 4 or 5 days to actually settle in on the device and then give you the proper battery life. But even with that, you can see right here we have pretty decent battery life. So right here with 110% battery, 9 hours 6 minutes. Right here again with 110% battery usage, we have 10 hours 18 minutes, and right here 150% battery, 12 hours 3 minutes, and then right here with about 100% battery, 7 hours 44 minutes, which is in my opinion quite good. So overall, iOS 18.3.1 is a great update, and I would actually suggest every iPhone user to update their device to the new iOS 18.3.1. So what's next in regards to iOS releases? Of course, iOS 18.4 Beta 1 will be released most likely, as we are seeing, next week, but also most likely there will be other updates released directly to the public without having to go through beta stages before the release of iOS 18.4 to the public, because we know that will take like a couple of months to be released. So in the meantime, there will be like security improvements and bug fixes that need to be released, and those will be released, of course, without having to go through beta stages. So what I suggest you do is make sure you go to your settings, go to software update, and set everything on automatic here, like your iOS updates, especially security responses and system files, and also iOS updates, so everything there is done automatically. These are smaller updates that are really important, so I suggest that you install them on your device. So that's basically it for this video, guys. This is everything you need to know regarding iOS 18.4. Hopefully, finally, it is coming out on its first beta, February 19th. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button. And if you want to stay informed with the latest news regarding iOS 18.4 and other iOS updates, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.